Chakshuritanjaya Tasmai Srila Gureva Chandrakaya Goswami Vishwatara Vanchikapita Vishwakita Sindhi Vichakata Namshrestam Mami Sachipuja Macha Shurvam Gupam Chashivjam Machum Kostavati Garapalam Gireva Hovan Kamai Vasham Bhakti Yeshakata Kivara Thamantos Shiva Vishnu Santam Bhaktivinoda Shri Jiva Gopala Matakasana Adana Srila Tandir Viram Yachi Guna Guna Sriman Gopala Prabhupad Visham Santacha Vairagya Bhakti Samprayana Vayamama Vipsmanda Kripam Guru Guru Ki Sanatata Prabhuma Shivaya Namo Mahavarana Krishna Preman Pragarati Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Nami Gaudishe Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sri Gaura Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Srila Krishna Sutta Shishma Shivakti Swami Raj Major Prabhupada Nikolai Siddhant was given by Shikshan Saras Gurudev Srila Krishna Sutta Shishma Goswami Raj Srila Krishna Sutta Shishma Shivakti Goswami Raj on a special occasion with your big popular Namaste, Srila Bhakti Siddhant, Saraswati, Srila Prabhupada, and the Tiruvada Mahotsava of my illustrious Prabhupada, Lila Krishna Sutta, Shishma Shivakti, and to all the seven Vaishnavas here in Hari Krishna. Prabhupada, Bhaktivedanta Santa Maharaj, Prabhupada, Kanachandra, Vijay Prabhu, Sundar Prabhu, all Vaishnavas and Vaishnavas, Sarvasanga, Sarvasanga, Sarvashastra Koya, Navanatra Sarvasanga, Sarvasiddhi Koya. Today we are very fortunate because we are here together glorifying such a high level sadhu. Jive Shakshadai Tata Chetaguru Shikshaguru Hate Krishna Mahanta Surupe. We can hear Paramatma Artayami, Guru in the heart, giving instructions continuously to guide us in this world, because we're so absorbed in our material desires and material pursuits, material aspirations. So we don't hear these instructions from Antaryami Guru, Chaitanya Guru. But out of Kripa, that Chaitanya Guru appears before us as the most exalted Mahan, the most exalted Sadguru. Then by that association and receiving those instructions, the Satsishya from the Sadguru can cut the binding chains of material existence in this material world and the repetition of samsara and enter into his real domain. And above Vaikuntha, above Kailash, above Ayodhya, above Dwarka, Mathura, in Sri Vrindavan now. So our line is we are so fortunate. Brahma Gaudiya Sampradaya, where Sri Chaitanya Prabhu has given the special Vicharadhar, Gauravani, Achita Veda Veda Tattva. So today we are glorifying Nityananda Prabhu Srimad to Shishman Shri Bhakti Siddhant Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. And I'm just curious, could you raise your hand? English Samasta? Raise your hand if you can understand my words.
Many understand, but you have to speak loudly. You are speaking as if you are speaking to the next person. Speak that you have to show the voice to the back person.
Nitai Gaur Premanande. So, in 1874, February 6th, in Jagannath Puridan, Sri Puridan, one ray of Vishnu, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur had prayed to Radharani, please send a near and dear of you. That this personality can spread the cult of Krishna consciousness, to spread the cult of Sri Chaitanya Prabhu Vani throughout the whole world. So on this day, hundreds of years ago, 200 years ago, more, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur took birth in Sri Jagannath Puri, and the name was given Bimala Prasad. Bimala Prasad. The mercy of the eternal Shakti of Sri Jagannath Dev. So this personality was a Nityasiddha Mahabhagat, and symptoms of his transcendental body were there. Natural tilak, like in both Gokul was like a Brahman, Upanaya, and different marks of his body, different links, etc., marking a Siddha Purush, Mahabhagat. So, Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur was the magistrate of Orissa, and specifically was in charge of Jagannath, Shringar, etc., all of the aspects of the Sri Mandir, the Jagannath Puri, were given management by Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So this was a very, Bimala Prasad is very illustrious, beautiful boy. And then we know some of the history, I'll be brief. But Rath Yatra car coming down Grand Road, and for those of you who have been on Rath Yatra, we know that sometimes, and we hear also the Chaitanya Church meet, that the Jagannath stops the cart. It can't move without the will of Sri Jagannath Dev. Even there's a pastime of Mahaprabhu, after hundreds and hundreds of strong dietas had tried to pull the Rath Yatra cart because it was stopped. And even they brought powerful elephants, and the cart would not move because it wasn't the will of Jagannath Dev. And so Mahaprabhu, he put all the men away. He put his bodyguards there, his devotees, and he began to push with his head, and the Jagannath began to roll. Jai Jagannath. So this was a lila right in front of the home of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. The cart stopped for 3 days, and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and his wife, Bhagavati Devi, they took the opportunity to put Bimala Prasad right up to the cart for Jagannath Darshan, and a very miraculous thing happened. The garland fell, and then it was put around Bimala Prasad, and his gira was given as Mahaprasad. Bimala Prasad. In a very short time, Bimala Prasad excelled in scholastics and mastered so many of the different subjects, especially Sanskrit, and was very, very astute scholar, as well as a Vichitra Purush. His sadhana was impeccable. When he was older, Srila Thakur began to think, my other sons, they have got married and they have some economic sustenance coming, but my boy Bimala Prasad, he needs some employment. So there was one king of Tripura who was his friend, and he had a son. So Bimala Prasad was put in charge of the scholarly endeavors of this son of the king. And in a very short time, he became very astute in his scholarship too. And also he was instructed by Bimala Prasad about Bhakti and the purpose of the human form of life. Labda Sadurvam Idam Bhavasam Bhavanti Manushanam Artinam Pita Dira Turnapyate Napatet Namrita Yavan Yashay Shasha Vishaya Kalusar Drasya. Srila Bhakti Siddhant, they love this verse, our Gurudev, because it explains that this human form of life is so durable, it's very rare. And Bimala Prasad was teaching the son's king all these principles. This human form of life is very rarely achieved, but it's very special because it affords one the opportunity to engage in devotional service. Even the devas, the demigods, are praying to take birth as a human being, especially on this earth planet, especially in Kali Yuga, especially in this Kali Yuga, Danya Kali, so they can get the benefit of performing and learning under the guidance of Sadguru. They can learn this process of bhakti and take the advantage of Mahaprabhu's presence, and especially the Nam that he is invested with Ras Prem. And this way completely emancipate from this material existence and enter into Goloka Vrindavan. Especially in Arpita Chirchat Karna Vichara Kulu Samapaitum Unutoshala Rasam Sabata Shri Haripurata Sundar Duty Kadamba Sandipita Sagarida again Kanda Espurto Vasachi Nanana. Sri Chaitanya Prabhu is invented finally after so long to teach this Raj Prem, and specifically Unutoshala Rasam Sabata Shri, especially the transcendental service of the maidservants of Srimati Radharani, Gopi Bhav, Madhur, Manjari Prem. So the king's wife was getting very upset because her son was being trained to be like a Vairagi. And she complained to the king, her husband, we should not have this person teach our son any continuously, because he's renouncing the Lord, we're afraid. So the king offered to continue paying. He was making 300 rupees a month, and at that time that was a lot of money, like 15,000 now. So, and I'll continue to pay your fee, but Bimala Prasad said no, I'm not. So he was also known as Lion Guru. Sringa Guru, our Sri Bhakti Vigan Keshwar is called, referred to as Acharya Keshwari. So Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur had this title because he very ferociously preached against all Apasiddhanta. He defeated not only Mayavadism and this impersonal Dvaita philosophy, But he defeated other sampradayas like the Bauls, the Gaurnagaris, the Bekis. There are 12 different types of opposite numbers. He dealt with this very strongly. So he was like a lion, but in another sense, he was like a lamb. One brahmachari came to surrender at the math, and he said, I will stay in the math, and I will not leave unless Srila Bhaktisiddhanta personally asks me, okay, you have to go. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta heard this, and he said, one is transmigrated through millions of lifetimes and taken the birth as a human being to be attracted to come to the math and perform bhakti is a very rare soul. How can I ever ask someone to leave the math when they've come to this great achievement in their human form of life? One time Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, because Bhaktivinoda Thakur, continuing the program of Braj Dham and Navadvip Dham, and later Jagannath Puri, these programs were being established under the guidance in the previous example of Nityananda Prabhu and Jiva Goswami. So this program was going on. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta enthusiastically took this to heart, and he continued these programs. And we know one time in program near Gordamaya in Navadvip, he had widely become known as being against caste Goswamis, the Smarta Brahmins, to speak of Mayavadis and Bhaktisiddhanta leaders, and was completely thrashing the concept so there's so many speakers tonight going to speak wonderful things. I'll just touch on a few things. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta has given us so many gifts. So many gifts. But myself and we all are so appreciative of his gift, of his shishas. You can tell Sadguru by the such shishas that he has. He is attracted. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta has so many different powerful disciples. Like our Parama Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Vigyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj. Srila Bhakti Daita Maharaj Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Jivan Janardhan Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Vaibhav Puri Maharaj, Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, Bhakti Hridaya Ban Maharaj, Adalami Maharaj. So many, Bhakti Hridaya Ban Maharaj, so many different powerful disciples. We could go on and on. Fearlessly taking up his orders and preaching. So many powerful disciples Srila Bhaktisiddhanta had. And my beloved Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. Without these personalities, what would we be? We owe so much to Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur by giving us Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who has given us this line of Sadgurus, given us this family that we can understand the tattvas, Bhakti tattva, Jiva tattva, Rasa tattva, Shraddha tattva, Radha tattva, Bhakti tattva, Sambandha Gyan, Abhidaya, and Prayojan tattvas. And by the mercy of Saraswati, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur was not so keen on opening temples and mosques, but Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said, no, I want to even establish one math. His first math was in Kalikutta, the port of Kali in Calcutta, because he wanted to be right in front of Maya's forces and defeat Maya's influence in society. He wanted to create institutions where people could become equipped and very powerful to cross over this repetition of repeated birth and death. In a short amount of time, he preached the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world. And starting with 64 mosques in India, and then sending disciples to Germany and England, and even the US, and then finally, my Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, our Srila Prabhupad, met Srila Bhakti Siddhant in 1922. And he was given the instruction, although he was a follower of the Gandhi's movement of independence for India, he was given the instruction right in his first meeting to preach this cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Western and English-speaking world. So Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj was defeated, saying, I can wait until India has Swaraj and then preach this cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said, no, it can't wait, it has to be done now. Nothing can wait for this message to be spread throughout the whole world. So he took this order, and after some years, eventually he went to the West, fortunate for the Videshis. And he took the highest teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he gave it to some of the lowest persons in Videsh. So much unqualified. And Swami Maharaj said that my Guru Maharaj has sent so many of you to help me spread this mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu around the world. In a few short years, he translated so many literatures, he opened up so many temples, established Vigraha Seva, and printed books in various languages of the world, and opened so many different temples throughout the whole world. This is all due to the mercy and power of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, who we are glorifying today. The different speakers will give different aspects of the teachings of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur that can cut the knots in our hard hearts, and enable us to taste the nectar for which we're always anxious. So on this day we pray to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada to please give us one drop of his mercy so that we can cross over this repetition of birth and death, take shelter of Srimati Radharani, and realize our eternal position as her maidservant in the highest realm of Lord Prabhupada. Machikopika Vishja Kripa Sendhi Vichar Pratintanam Karni